You descend the narrow, damp steps that plunge into the earth. The ceiling is so low the taller among you must stoop to go on. With every step, the air grows colder. You pull your cloak tighter for some scrap of comfort and continue. The understructure feels vaster than the floor above would have suggested. The corridor seems endless, a long straightaway broken only by patches of icy water. Somewhere in the dark, dull, deep blows resound, whose nature you choose not to investigate. "Here," says Garak, halting at a junction. "This turn should take us to the main tunnel." He speaks under his breath, consulting the maps in the weak torchlight. You take an even narrower passage that slopes gently downward, as if dragging you deeper still. You move through a web of burrows, some tight enough that your shoulders brush the walls, others oddly high and broad, their vaults blackened by damp and marked with ancient signs worn by time. Garak goes on with surety, anticipating the turns as if he had always known this place. But you cannot help noting the guard's unease. Hands clench on hilts, heads twitch at every stray sound. After what feels like an age, you spill into a wider chamber. The torches reveal a space that looks nothing like a catacomb, but rather a buried palace. The floor, polished like marble, is inlaid with refined geometries. Along the walls stand great columns, and in deep niches, kneeling statues that hide their faces in their hands, as if in despair. You also notice that in some alcoves the statues are missing. You reach the end of the grand room. The far wall is blind. Before you, only a muralled expanse with no passage. Garak studies the maps with mounting impatience, glancing from the wall to his papers and back. He mutters words under his breath you cannot catch. "Garak," you ask, "is something wrong?" "The maps show a passage directly ahead," he murmurs, brow furrowing. "Perhaps the structure has been altered over time. Did someone reach it before us? No, that would be madness. We can try another route. This corridor should lead us to the final chamber without undue loss. This other one is shorter, but less clear." He speaks almost to himself, as if weighing pathways in his mind. "Garak, we've walked far, and it may be deep night already. If we stop to rest, sleep might bring counsel, and you'd wake with a clearer head." The guards support the proposal, and even Beol does not seem to mind the idea. Garak hesitates, then, grudgingly, concedes that a pause is the wisest choice. Each of you picks a place to lie down. The sacks of provisions and the torches are gathered in the center. You arrange yourselves in a circle. The torches are snuffed, only a small lamp remains, meant to fade through the night. You settle near the wall. For some instinctive reason, you want your back protected, as far from those statues as possible. Rest is not what you would call pleasant. The chamber is cold and damp. You wrap yourself in your cloak, which barely keeps the shivers at bay. The stone floor is too hard. Your bag as a pillow does a middling job at best. You are woken, you can't say how long after, by what sounds like a heated argument. One of the guards is speaking in a broken voice, arms flailing. "I tell you, I heard something moving in the dark. We have to go, now." The other tries to calm her, to no avail. The first babbles prayers to the gods, then bolts for the entrance to the hall you came from. Her steps echo, fainter and fainter, then a dull thud and a shriek of metal rip the silence. After that, nothing. "That idiot," snaps Garak. "He'll have managed to break his own neck. We've no time to worry about him. We move." The remaining guard says nothing. She lifts a sack of provisions. Beol slings the other over his shoulder. "Have you found the way?" you ask. "Certainly," Garak replies. "We'll take a side passage. We should reach our destination in just under 2 hours. Ration the torches to be safe." You light only 2 torches. You retrace your steps to the hall of statues and colonnades. You could swear the statues have shifted, if only slightly. On either side of the hall, 2 openings lead to 2 separate rooms. "This way," says Garak, indicating the passage on the right. The corridor leads to a smaller chamber, with another door, curiously well preserved, on the far side. In the center stands a statue of bizarre aspect: the head of a lion, human arms, the legs of a goat. The expression of its face, if one can call it a face, is unsettling. You wonder what twisted mind conceived it, then move on. What follows is no less strange. You cross broad corridors with windows set deep in the stone which, being underground, show nothing but solid rock. In one room, the meager torchlight barely picks out odd mechanical forms. They look to be wood and iron, machines or instruments of torture, you think. But the perverseness of this place leaves open the possibility of something stranger still. From the walls hang thin filaments, swaying gently with the shift of air. They don't look like ropes. Perhaps they are wires of metal. You stop in an adjoining recess for a meager meal. In the silence, your attention hones in on a peculiar phenomenon. You think you hear a distant ticking, like tiny footsteps or metal tapping on stone. The sound is so faint you can't tell if it's real or only a trick of your imagination. You set off again. You strain to catch it once more, but the noise of your own steps makes it impossible. "This way," says Garak. "No, wait, the other direction. Proceed." You see him hesitate, sometimes linger too long, rifling the maps with growing frenzy. When pressed for a decision, he answers curtly and lets no one else view the pages. At a fork, he looks more pensive than usual. He stands for a long time, silent. "Garak," you say quietly, "we've been walking a long while. Can you assure me you know the way? We still have time to turn back." "Silence," he snaps, visibly annoyed. "The maps don't lie. This is the right path. By your reckoning, the 2 hours passed long ago. The thought of losing yourselves in the coils of these catacombs doesn't please you, nor does trusting a stranger. Luckily, you have a solution. As you go, you use a knotted cord to mark the path taken. It's a technique a wandering holy man taught you on a journey east. Enchanted by that trick which lets you orient yourself through any maze, even in absolute darkness, you resolve to master it. At every turn, the direction of the knot matches the direction taken. The distance between knots roughly marks the ground covered. If Garak should lose his way, or things turn sour, you will still have a line out. At last you come to a room unlike the others. It isn't large, but the ceiling rises so high the torchlight cannot reach it. In the center, a small pedestal with an empty dish atop it. Before you, an imposing door. "Is this the room, you ask?" "Not exactly, but we're close, I'm sure of it," Garak answers, indicating the door. And yet your unease does not abate. You study the door. It is majestic, hard to say of stone or wood. Despite its age and the harsh conditions, it looks intact and sound. Exquisite inlays run across its surface, sketching patterns that might be ornament or a forgotten script. "Beyond this door lies what we seek," says Garak. "All that remains is to open it." The door is massive and unusually stubborn. Not even Beul's strength, nor blades used as levers, make any difference. It will not yield, as if bound by an invisible spell. But another thought gnaws at you. The ticking you had taken for an illusion is louder now, audible even through other sounds. You close your eyes to catch its direction. You cannot fix it. It seems to draw nearer and nearer. You are almost certain it is approaching. While Beul is still straining and hammering in vain, the guard's eyes go wide as she points back toward the way you came. "Sir, what are those?" Torchlight reveals the corridor crowded with statues. They were not there before, the very same statues from the first hall, but now their hands are raised in aggression, their faces twisted in rage. "How did they get here?" How are they moving? Fascinating, murmurs Garak, eyes bright with fever. Stone transmuted to life, activation by ethereal currents. Where is the mechanism concealed? I am speechless. He seems more amused than frightened, lost in his thoughts, not entirely present. Observe, he says. From his tunic he draws a pendant of white stone, which looks to you identical to the one you found. You don't recall him ever saying he had one. He sets it on the little dish. A deep boom shakes the hall. The floor vibrates. You lose your footing for a heartbeat. The pedestal splits and part of it collapses. The statues, still until that instant, quicken at once. They advance toward you. Their motions are jerky, unnatural, unnerving, but inexorable. Their faces are twisted with fury and hate. The fight erupts. Beol brings one down with his mace. A tremendous blow that would fell a man only cracks the thing. It takes 2, 3 more, before the figure shatters and drops inert. You move quickly. You use their weight to throw them off balance, topple them, coaxing fine fissures. You strike again and again, with cold precision, until the hairline cracks turn to fatal fractures. But however you strive, the statues do not relent. More arrive, too many. The door, it's opened, the guard shouts. She speaks true. The leaf, immovable moments ago, has swung just enough to admit a single person, as if the ritual had unlocked it. You hurl yourselves through as fast as you can, hoping to leave the statues behind, but they follow. With mace and blade you hold them at bay. One by one you slip through the door to gain a defensible position on the other side. All pass through, one at a time. At last only the guard remains. Before she can make it, a stone hand clamps her arm and near crushes it. She begs for help. You reach out to haul her in, but Garak, closer, looses from his palm a greenish flame that wraps her body. In the space of a single breath, nothing remains of her but ash. With nothing left to wedge it, the door slams shut. For long, long minutes the threshold quakes under the statue's blows, but it holds. What a moment ago was an insurmountable obstacle has become your salvation. In that din you catch Beol's taut gaze on Garak. You can't read it, disapproval, perhaps, or a suppressed grin. Then the pounding fades, silence returns. You stand in an immense hall, apparently the journey's end. The torches illuminate an island of light in the dark. Neither far wall nor ceiling lie within its reach. Perhaps here you will find the answers you seek, though you still do not see how. Behind you, a barred door. Before you, the dark awaits.